Thanks for this opportunity. No, and of course, I have a multiple role. I also have a role in Milan. At this moment, I'm joining from Milan. Me and Max are joining from Milan. I think I could rope in Max. Is with a huge experience in the consulting field, and in the last 5 years, he works in our group, and he works very, very closely with me. I think we have prepared so many strategies and rolled out. And today, I think we are very, very proud. I think it's one of the child we sort of thought about a couple of years back, and me and Max will be like, we are very, very happy to share to this very knowledgeable audience on a role EPC contractors brings into play, even from a very early stage on the digital transformation. I'll just start sharing the presentation. Okay, I think we have a very small slide deck. I would let Max start with the first few slides. Please,
Thank
Max.
you very much. Thank you very much, Satya. We are. You're right. It's been a long journey we have made together, still in the last very few years. And when we talk about digital transformation, I think everybody thinks about technologies, and all of us know about big data, advanced robots, about manufacturing in 3D, about industrial internet, and about connectivity. These are, of course, a key element of a transformation. Satya, next page, please. And based on this, Satya, can you go to the next page, please? And based on these elements, I think that our industry, and we see it on the left-hand side of this page, our industry is expecting a good value from this. No, 80% of the refining and petchem players have launched a digital transformation program. More or less, if we see the statistics, everybody expects something like 15 to 30% increase in productivity, and 3 to 8% expecting gross margin increase. So our vision with the Satya and in my Tecmimont group has been we want to be the contractor of the future. We want to leverage this. We want to be there, not just must have, but as a source of competitive advantage on 2 points. One is to be more effective, more efficient on the APC, and the second on giving our clients the innovation inside their plants to make their plants more effective and more efficient. Satya, in the next page, we have the bad news. In fact, if we see what Boston Consulting Group, but many other have given such a message, 75% of the large-scale digital transformation efforts have failed to meet the expectation. So with the Satya, I think we had the idea to share with you a couple of do's and don'ts, or more than a couple, of what happened to us, what were the reason behind the success, the part of the success that we had in our digital transformation. And what are the key statements? First one looks simple, but it's not simple, is don't start from the technology. We are in a business which have a lot of tradition, and we are in a business that is made of iron and steel and concrete. And you cannot download petrochemicals from your iPhone. We have to stick to our business. The second statement is that you don't have to be, you don't have to be an inventor. We don't think that you have to redesign everything, but if you want to win, if you want to take advantage of the digital transformation, you want to streamline the most relevant topic, to focus on what is the value pool that we have in front of us. Third point, again, be pragmatic. We don't need to start from a revolution standpoint, but you need to make it simple and make it happen. That's why me and Satya work very well together. And the other big point is that in our industry, what we have seen, and also at the beginning of our journey, we were full of pilots, and experiments. Fine, they're important, but the key message is select your pilots, find what you want to follow, scale up, and focus on adoption. Focus on the fact that people must understand and apply the innovation that you bring. Satya, I think that the other 2 or 3 points are some critical points in our digital transformation is that the business has to drive the business. I liked also in Mr. Patel's presentation the fact that there is iron, there are vessels, there are items, there is equipment. So it's important that the business function must be involved and committed in the transformation. It's not something that is done in an IT lab. Second point, what we like is that in the digital transformation, we break the silos totally. Engineering is not anymore the silos of engineering. Procurement is not anymore the silos of procurement. Construction is not anymore the silos of construction. But more of that, we break the silos between clients and contractor. We break the silos between contractor and OEM manufacturer. And this is very important, and this is where you want to have a portfolio vision to allocate the right resources to activate the right interfaces. And the final point, I told it, we have this dissemination, we have open innovation. Digital transformation is what makes us learn from our partners, make us learn from our clients. And as we are doing in Tecmimont, I think if we open our doors, we bring a lot of the value in this cooperation. And we also, as contractor, we bring all the value that our equipment manufacturers are building in digitalization. We bring this directly to the client, and this is great for these times in the ecosystem. Satya, I think that the next slide is the last slide I want to show is we are fulfilling the MAIRE Tecmimont digital vision, and Satya will tell it with real examples. But the point is that we do it through a clear operating model. We do not work on the technology, we work on the processes, as you see there. We changed the way we do the engineering, but we changed the way we do the planning, we changed the way we do the tendering, we changed many processes. We changed the organization, but the key point in organization is we decided to embed the digital inside the MAIRE Tecmimont organization. We did not create the digital MAIRE Tecmimont. We digitalize MAIRE Tecmimont. We digitalize Tecmimont. In fact, the key important point is the one that is below this slide, is that we work to engage our people. We work to put the digital competencies inside every single employee in Milan, in Mumbai, in Rome, in Moscow, wherever in the world. And this is, I think, one of the key strengths, at least has been one of the key choices that MAIRE Tecmimont has done in the digital transformation. I leave it to Satya because he knows to explain much better than I do.
So like what we said in the beginning, it's about adoption, not only a theoretical approach and a project on the digital, and a full adoption and to embrace the new way of working. And with our experience, we are suggesting you cannot start about this digital initiatives later into the project cycle. It's like the other things we do. We should start right from the feed. And fortunately, I think we had few feeds starting from 2019, and where we could convince our client early in the phase of project conceptualization to co-design the digital initiatives, from together with them. So this way, I think we start from the very beginning, and during project execution, the project is executed in a digital way. So we will see in the next slides how we upgraded many of our internal process to be more data centric, and these data can be handed over to the operating companies in the future. So this also, during execution, it gives a full visibility to the client. And then we moved over so we by end of this EPC execution process, we practically prepare a digital twin, either from a model point of view, also from the plant optimization point of view. And this digitalized plant, once it is established, and we also, of course, we implement the plant with certain features as we take care during the design. I think from day one, this becomes a state-of-the-art plant, which could be controlled more intelligently. So the digital process cannot enter in between. It should start right from the conceptualization up to the operation. Of course, as an EPC contractor, what do we bring on the table? I think we are a single point of entry for the client. I think we can orchestrate, since we are in between the client and all the other stakeholders. I think we could orchestrate the solutions. So we can understand the requirements of the client, and we can deliver to client together with the support of our suppliers what ultimately the client wants to realize. So we can be interface with the MAC, other third-party vendors, and we can provide the solutions exactly tailored to the needs of the client. I think this is very important. The vendor ecosystem orchestration is very important, and I think this is where a technology-driven EPC contractor like Tecmimont bring a lot of value on the table. Of course, what did we internally use for our orchestration and transformation to digital operations? So we had what Max explained before. We were looking at the organization for collaboration, more wide collaboration, let's say. Then, of course, we used a lot of data we had. We tried to organize them in a proper way. And then on top with the consultants and with also many, people who we recruited for these purposes, we could use all these new technologies of advanced analytics, artificial intelligence, big data. I think you call any name, all these things. I think they help to really mine this data and utilize them to deliver the optimization for the client. Of course, the internal processes had to be a little bit tightened. They had to be done in a uniform platform. You had to start from in a single data, which is a truth, and the same data is used in multiple places and not recreate the same data in different places. So we had to have a much more disciplined approach than what we used to have before. I think that's a fundamental for delivering a digital twin. And then, of course, also we took load of, the main drivers like engineering, procurement, also making some of the routine activities more like a service rather than a big activity like a document control activity. I think we made it into a service. Of course, everything lies on a fundamental foundation digital security, a robust security system. I think in this last year, we have all realized when we worked from home that we had to access our stuff in the cloud and in our servers, and this had to be based on a secure platform. I think we invested a lot in the last 3 years, and that's really laid the foundation, and it's also paying off for us. Then internally, I think what we said about tightening our processes, we again, this spans right from tendering stage up to the construction and commissioning phase. So we have also sort of developed a very intelligence data analytical tool, which sort of gathered more than 20 years of Myra Tecmimont's history of several plants. So this way, I think sometimes we simply ask a Google or Alexa a price for an EPC. It's not so simple like what I'm saying, but I think we have methods now with the data that it could also save tendering cost. Of course, engineering is one of the fields with where you have very wide application of these. So we have moved to BIM. We have robotized many of our laborious work, which also gives optimization in terms of man hours. It gives us very, very good schedule advantage. And then, of course, we give these we extended this also to the supply chain orchestration. So we have vendor qualification on digitalized platform, smart sourcing. Also, we have post-order tracking. Many innovations we have done in this period, which are very, very exciting. No, I could not have imagined this 6-7 years back what we are doing. And the last but not the least, I think the biggest benefit we are seeing is on the construction field. I think the way we organize our data, we can also drill down to piece of a small work package. We can organize these things in a much better way, and we could also organize the resources in a proper way. And we could also, if we could connect the plant from the right beginning on an integrated internet connectivity, I think we could even sort of implement solutions for the safety of the workforce actually in the site. Of course, this is helping also in the planning, monitoring, and of course the document management system lies at the bottom as a means of communicating the deliverables to the client. And the material management helps in managing the warehouse at the site. It starts from the procurement phase and goes up to delivering the plant to the client. Of course, like what we said, we just showed some screenshot of what AI we do for the tendering. So these past project data helps us in a great way. But we also went down to weeds. I think we sort of optimized also the punch list. What we do at the site is something we are today realizing with a handheld tool like a mobile or an iPad. We can see. Also, this gives us a visibility from the office what's happening in the site. It's all tracked basically. Of course, one of the best benefits is about the feasibility. I know this is something we are doing for last 20 years, but the way more glamorously we do is absolutely brilliant because of this digitalization. So we could see in a 3D model and demonstrate to many of our clients today, which spools are feasible, not only isometric, which spools are feasible, which equipment can be erected, which pieces of steel structure are still missing, which part of the steel structure you can erect. So I think these type of granularity we get in planning. Also, really, I think we went into a 4-dimensional planning. So with the time, so we used in one of the Indian projects, we are building for HMEL in the north of India for Bathinda, one of these tools to also sort of flexibly manipulate the schedule of construction, because the visual visualization of what is arriving late, what is arriving early. I think this gave us a great flexibility and advantage in replanning our construction resources and still be in a decent schedule to deliver the plant to the client. And I think our guys, with all this help, I think made in the last year a progress of 8% in one of the months, end of the last year. I think it gives also a better subcontractor management. It gives us for the future a data to do better arrangement with the subcontractors. Let's say like this. Of course, like I think we saw what Bhaskar was presenting before. That was interesting. I think we were ready in Milan and in Europe mainly. We were ready from 2016. In a large way, we moved to smart working. So even in 2019, my colleagues in Milan were coming 1 or 2 days in a week, when the other days they would be working from home. And of course, in last year when we entered in COVID, I think we had to do a sort of a rapid implementation of a similar system in India. Our software platforms were ready. It was more about moving machines like many of us did in India. And after that, I think our business was business as usual. Even though today, like we are like 25-30% of people in the office, we really deliver. We continue to deliver projects across the world, from North America up to East Asia. And also, we work from US up to Philippines, and I think we are delivering the project seamlessly. I think it is a big part of it goes to the resilience of our team. They took it up and they came back, and also the investment we have done on the digital platform has helped a lot. Max, would you take the external stream?
Yes, of course. Thank you very much, Satya. In this slide, I want to start from where Satya left us. So Satya left us on the top left side corner of this slide. We see that Maire Tecmimont has invested in being an efficient EPC contractor that is digital in its core processes. No? So we have full transparency with our client. Satya, for example, made the example of HMEL, where our client can see where we are in the feasibility, what is the work front. But also we have internal processes digitalized. If we move clockwise, Satya told we have the asset digital twin, no? The digital twin of the plant that is natively produced during our engineering, procurement, and construction project. And this is what we bring as almost for free, thanks to our processes in the EPC phase, to our clients. And on this, we can build a digital operating and maintenance of the plant by the client. So we have created, we can, based on these processes, services, solutions that make our clients more profitable. Of course, the last point in the bottom left corner is that, and Satya was very clear on that, no compromise on security, no compromise on cyber defense, because today we see that not the newest plant, but maybe the plant that were built 10, 15 years ago are the ones that have the most critical vulnerabilities. So the more we go to digital, the more the risk is high for all the plants. And I would say especially for the, not for the last ones, not for the newest one, but for all the plants, even for the one that have more than 10 years. So here we see that we have created an operating model which brings 360 degrees value to our clients. And in the next slide, I want to point out one thing. On the left-hand side, I would say that there are off-the-shelf or typical needs that our client have, and I will tell you in a second which one they are. No, so there are pain points or value pools that almost every client can target and can benefit from. But on the right-hand side, I like very much when Satya said, if we start from the feed, if we start from the early phases, we can really increase the effectiveness of the digital content, of the digital transformation on our clients' plant. Cases are, maybe I show you a case later on, but this is the real difference. While of course every client have the possibility to leverage on some technology, on some solutions, but I'm also sure that every client have the specificity of the needs. So if we can talk at the beginning, if we can talk when the client is designing the way he wants to run its business, to make his plant, to make his investment, we can really make a big difference on the return on the investment. Satya, if you can give me, thank you very much. In this slide, I just wrap up what are the most standard, the most common solutions that are potentially a value for every client. The base, okay, what is the basement, the foundation of the effectiveness of all this digitalization for our clients is again the asset digital twin, which being the EPC contractor natively digital is the enabler for the rest. There you have all the 3D modeling, all the engineering data, all the documents that have been produced during the plant. But this also gives value to, and I take the first column is the set of solution for plant productivity. Of course, having designed the plant, we can definitely know what are the rotating machinery, what are the statics that can be critical, and on these make everything is needed to have a real, effective, predictive maintenance. Okay, not just data driven, but also with the plant operation in mind. Again, the second, the number 3, second in the box, is that being the Maire Tecmimont Group a licensor, or when not a licensor, a very technologically oriented EPC contractor, we know not only the plant but also the process. So we have the capability not only to have the predictive maintenance approach, but also the process optimization approach. And this can make really a difference in the P&L of the plant at the end of every year. Last point, of course, having made the plants, we really know how to optimize the utilization also on the prescriptive maintenance. And this is something that has become more and more critical, especially in COVID times. You must do the maintenance, and we will have to do the maintenance, having a good plan, having a good reducing the risk to have a break, to have a disruption. If I come to the central part, and I'll be quicker now, not only you have to have the right plant, but you also have to have the right competencies in your operator, not in the control room and on the field. And based on our ability and our capability to design models, for example, for the process optimization, we are quite sure that with our operator training simulators, the productivity of the plant, especially in the first years, dramatically increase. It's like when you fly a plane, an airplane. The pilots spend a lot of time in the simulator before flying an airplane. And we have recently also bought a company that is specialized in these simulators. Finally, and I want to close with this, when we digitally do the operation of our EPC contract or our EPC activity, we run our sites having a platform that help us monitoring the HSE risk and also monitoring the field service and the field people. We have, and Satya showed a digital field force platform to manage our construction activity that can be handed over to our clients. And also we discussed about the material management, the tracking of the materials, which of course is crucial during the EPC phase, but is crucial also when you have to run the plant, do the operations, and do the maintenance. So this is important for me to stress the fact that we have focused on the productivity of the plant, on the productivity of the people and the competencies, and also on the safety and productivity of the operations on the field. Satya, in the last page, I just wanted to close my view, not just with the pictures, but also with figures. If we see these benefits that in theory are so clear, I want to show in numbers. The numbers are like this. It's true. It's a petrochemical plant. The case of a petrochemical plant, a simulation of the impacts in the midterm could be an impact if we install all the suite that I showed you, our margin increase of 4 to 8%. And you see that just one point, the yellow part, that is the one for the plant productivity. So the predictive maintenance, the process optimization, the things that are more related, if I may, to the fact that the client and the contractor sit together and co-create the solution, co-create the improvement, are the ones that are the most important. The yellow part is the most important in this graph. So this is my takeaway is that the results are there, the opportunity is there, and we have invested in being the contractor of choice for who wants to take this opportunity from the market. What do you think, Satya? And I leave it to you for the closing.
I think I just give a final takeaway. I think we are a little bit running out of time. I think our group believes in this, and also we started from our core EPC process, but I think today we are also able to deliver. We are delivering solutions to client, digital solutions to client. Already we have our existing clients. We not only do EPC solution, but we also part of the EPC solution we do digital solution. So being like what I was saying, always a technology-driven contractor, having couple of licensing companies as well, part of the group, I think we are better prepared and we can start co-designing the stuff right from the beginning with the client. And of course, the last point is a digitally enabled plant for sure, like what Max showed in the last slide, can have a very significant impact on the OPEX. No, that's all.